Hi guys, and welcome to this new video. In this video we are talking about something different again. Yeah, because we are not talking about toys or musical things, musical stuff, musical gadgets in general, but we are talking about old phones. Yeah, because if you didn't know, I also collect old phones, and this time I have to throw away a phone that doesn't work anymore, unfortunately. And in this video I'm just going to unbox it and say something about it before throwing it away, because it's a phone that you've never seen before. Sorry if I'm only making this video as audio only, so you can see how this phone is built. So this thing doesn't have a specific brand name. It's called Go Color 2, and it's one of these phones that resemble a Nokia of some kind, and my grandma won this thing at a supermarket with only 10 euros or 9.99 euros. She won this thing. And I remember that she gave me this thing last year, and she forgot about it for years, and the battery was broken, was damaged, and since I broke the SD card slot, this thing became useless. So I was planning to use it as an MP3 player of some kind or something like that, but I have to throw it away just because of that. So the specifications are always the same. So this thing has a camera, apparently I think it should be 0.3 megapixels, so VGA quality, Bluetooth, FM radio, MP3 player, GSM quad band. It doesn't have a MediaTek CPU, but something similar. So it doesn't have MediaTek. It's based on Spreadtron operating system, because the CPU name starts with ST65 or something like that. It's ST65. I don't remember what it is, but it's GSM quad band. So 850, 900, 1/800 and 1/900 megahertz GSM. And in the box you find the phone in this bag. Then underneath you'll find the usual things: the charger that we'll keep because it's a work of art, the simplest charger I've never seen before. So this charger is so simple. It reminds me of some cheap charger from the early 2000s with cheap phones, you know. This thing has a built-in cable. You can't disconnect the cable. So then we find this other bag where there was the battery, the manual. So they give you a manual. So we will skip the manual because it's a work of art. These manuals are always pieces of art. Another bag that I don't know what it was. Maybe it had the earbuds. I still don't know if this thing had earbuds or not. We should also have that plastic, that metal piece that broke of the SD card slot. But the phone, in terms of build quality, is so cheap. So we don't need the box anymore. Let me close it, and we will put it in the bin because we don't need it anymore. So this will be probably the last time I will touch this phone. It's very cute. So it has a 1.8 screen display, The keys are so cheaply made and so low quality, but they feel actually good in some way. So here we find the micro USB charging port and a very huge 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, and nothing else. Only on the back we find this camera and the speaker. Maybe it's the logo of the brand called Sonky Mobile or Sonky Mobile. I don't know what it is. The plastic back cover is the back cover. Sorry, is made out of this plastic. Very well made. The display is here. The earpiece is here. So you open it by pressing here, and my grandma couldn't know how to open the back cover, so that's why she never used never used it, because she didn't know how to open. It's strange, it's funny, but that's what it was, how it was. So here there was this SD card slot that it worked, and it is dual SIM, so you can touch the circuitry underneath. It's so cheap, but at least feels solid. It feels solid. The operating system is always the same. As I said, the usual menus that try to imitate a Nokia, but it isn't. There's a snake game. I saw that there's a snake game of this thing, but since it's a bootleg, a knockoff, it wasn't original. It was bad. Just a moment. I have to go for a moment. Okay, here I am. Yeah, here I am. So the feeling on the keys is what it is. The keys are what they are. The number keys. The number keys. So this phone, I think it was meant to be used as a secondary phone, as an emergency phone. So that's why supermarkets sold it some years ago. Maybe they are still making phones of this kind, but they are what they are. So since this thing became useless because of the broken SD card door on the slots, I have to throw it away. And even because it didn't have the original battery. So this deserve, now unfortunately this thing will deserve a good old knee, but a good soft knee. Not that soft, but I have put it very softly, very gently into the bin. Not as I did with the cassette converter that I reviewed some days ago. So this was the crappy Eurospin supermarket Go Color 2 phone. Yeah, because this thing came from Eurospin, or Eurospin in Italian is Eurospin supermarket. So this is the hand that these phones will have in a few years. If you don't use it, if you don't use them, the battery will damage, and they are so cheaply made that the SD card slots or the SIM slots break. And that's why I don't recommend you to buy these phones, but buy them only if you need them for something, for example, some situation, for example, your grandma, your grandpa, your relatives, or senior relatives, or elderly people in general. So buy them on a smartphone or something else. I think that an elderly person of some kind, or your grandpa or grandma should be able to use an iPhone very normally. You don't need to buy a simplified device or an Android phone. They are able to use an Android phone or WhatsApp. Sorry. So if you wanna give a phone to your grandpa or grandma, give them a normal Android smartphone, because my grandpa could use normally an Android smartphone, or even better, an iPhone. Not these things, because they are cheaply made, they don't last, as Nokia phones did back in the day. These are only imitations or copies or knockoff imitations of old phones. So this was it. So thanks for watching, for listening, and stay tuned for the next videos. Bye.